Hello, this is Sex and Cards, and today we are having sex with Skipbo. And I am your host, Sean Lewis. I am sitting with my two guests, my lovely wife, Jade. Say hi.
Hi.
And our good friend, Miss Evan.
What's up? What's up?
AKA Batman.
Yes.
I disagree.
Shut up, Robin.
And so, what we are doing today is drawing topics out of a jar, and we're going to talk about whatever the fuck we draw. And Evan, you draw first, and let's see where we go with it.
Fucking dick. Okay, hold on. You ain't even let me finish my turn. Got me doing errands and shit. Hope I got one of Sean's. Let's see here.
How do you know it's mine?
It's your handwriting.
Do I have like a...
Yes, a distinctive handwriting.
You have a man's handwriting.
A little tiny.
Alright, so right now we are going to talk about unlocking the brain possibilities. So when so let me get some clarification. When you talk about unlocking the brain, what exactly do you mean? Because for some people, like I do know some people that aren't necessarily religious, but they are very spiritual, so they believe that you can unlock your third eye and shit like that.
Okay, which is awesome, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about using the parts of your brains that they say we don't use. We supposedly only use 12% of our brain capacity.
Okay.
So, I, often being a superhero fucking fanatic and self-titled guru, I feel that there's possibilities if we access maybe even 2% more. Maybe we could fucking read minds, telekinesis, anything.
You mean kind of like that one fucking movie, Lucy?
Lucy, yes, very
where
much
she
like
uses
Lucy.
all of it and can do fucking anything.
That's on the context I'm talking about. I don't even know if my wife's seen Lucy, but she knows how much I talk about this. She knows exactly what we're talking about. So what are your ladies' thoughts? What are your guys' thoughts, ladies' thoughts? Anyway, continue.
I don't necessarily believe that there's a way to use a bigger percentage of your brain. And I say that because I feel like society has formed us.
Yes,
none
like brainwashed.
None of us would truly know how to even begin using that additional parts of our brain because we're so stuck in the now. So I personally don't believe it's possible, because how do you even start?
I feel like it's very possible. I'll get into that.
I feel like it is too.
But I agree on the subject.
Yeah, I understand where Evan's coming from.
That we wouldn't know what the fuck to do. I feel it would cause complete chaos. Just especially on the point of it giving us special abilities. I feel humans are very selfish. We would do all kinds of terrible, fucked off things if we could. So I feel like it'd end in complete chaos, but it fascinates me. I feel on a scientific level, I feel like it's possible. I feel if you spend enough time within yourself, I feel you can access that shit.
Okay, but when you spend enough time in yourself, are you referring to some sort of like deep meditation, or
yes.
What do you mean exactly? Because
time within you focus on what we were here for. I feel like we're deeper than we allow ourselves to be. There's so much within a human soul that we that we could, I don't know, find out about ourselves. There's just so much,
right. So let me ask you this, right? So if you're a person like me, I think too much of... I'm a realist.
Yes.
So I find it very difficult to meditate because I'm not going to say that I don't have an imagination, but I find it very difficult to sit and visualize anything for me to even meditate. And I feel like in order to meditate, you have to sit and visualize yourself. You have to focus on everything. That. So how would a person like that, because I know there are other people that are like that, how do you think that they would even begin to start that process?
Being alone. And I, too, am a constant thinker, which leads me to more trouble than not. But I feel like the key to all things, especially happiness, not just unlocking the brain. I feel the key to all things, and I'm not a scientist, I don't know shit about anything. I feel the key to all things, happiness, is spending time with yourself, and being alone.
Being comfortable with being
who you are as an individual. Already there, you're a step ahead of the game, because a lot of these people nowadays don't even know how to be themselves.
So let me test you a little further, right?
Yes.
There are people with diseases which literally prevents them from being alone.
Yes. And
so how would a person, how would you come up to a person and explain to them how to begin this process if they medically can't be alone? It's almost like those people that can't leave the house because of the fear of the outside world. There's people that can't be alone because of that fear. So how do you overcome that when it's almost something that requires medication in most cases?
Well, I feel that those people, I feel they can also be healed with spending time within themselves. I feel, yes, it's a medical thing, but it's also a very, personal thing. It's a you thing. You are causing this within yourself. You are overthinking. You are stressing.
And I think that's where I disagree. Because I looked at this thing today, because I've just been doing a lot of soul searching because of the situations.
Yes.
And there are actual...
Evan's going through a rough patch, ladies and gentlemen. Who's not? We all are these days. But.
So there's actual diagrams of pictures taken of what doctors consider a normal brain versus...
Really?
Versus pictures of people who have been diagnosed with ADHD. Their brains look completely different. People have been diagnosed with clinical depression. Their brains look completely different from what's supposed to be a normal brain. So who's to say that these people that are afraid to be alone, that it's not them necessarily overthinking, but that their brains have developed in a different manner than what is considered normal. So it's not something that they're necessarily
that they can
doing to
do on their own.
Right.
Okay, yes, I agree. Well, then maybe they're fucked. I don't know. But I still believe it's possible that we can access parts of our brain. I'm
not doubting that. I think for different people, it's going to take different things.
Whereas oh, yeah. I mean, there's
somebody with a normal brain might be able to sit down and spend that time with themselves, but then somebody who doesn't necessarily have a normal brain, there might be a different process that they would need to take to reach those abilities.
And even looking within yourself, I mean, to access other part of your brains, I don't even feel maybe that's even valid. It might be a medical thing. There's rumors that the government's working on like mind pills and shit that they give to big corporation people, so they
I feel like that's something they've already established, and that's why we're stuck where we are. Who's to say that shit's not in our water supply?
I don't think it's in our water. I don't think they're giving it to us at all, because it's unlocking other parts of your brain. It's allowing you to think past what they want you to think.
Well, I'm not talking about like the power portion of it, but think about truly think about why we're stuck in the realm that we're in. Why society is the way that it is. I do believe that there's something in the water supply that makes us feel this is who I am and this is all that I can be.
Yeah.
Kind of like, have you seen that movie Divergent?
I have not.
Where pretty much they go in and read their minds, and it tells them this is the person that you're meant to be, and so they divide themselves based off of that. But then you have the people that are considered divergent, and their minds aren't like everybody else. So who's to say that we're all divergent? Because look at how we make friends with people. Look at how we choose who we link up with. We naturally divide ourselves.
And we're raised that way. We are raised to live in a loop. From day one, we are taught this way, and this is what it is, and that is eternal.
So why do you think that so many people have such difficulty stepping outside of that loop?
They know no different. They are in the Matrix. You ever seen the Matrix? They are in Divergent. It's very realistic.
So what about people like me, right? Because I did spend majority of my life as a ward of the state. Yes. I had no true parents, so I didn't have anybody teaching me that, well, this is what's right and this is what's wrong, or these are the people you should associate with and these people are different. I didn't have that. I didn't have anybody truly telling me what to do, but I did that myself. I choose my friends based off of specific characteristics that they have.
Do you feel mentally and within, do you feel you have more free will than the people that are raised with both mom and dad? Like within yourself, do you feel you're more you're well-rounded? You're better off?
I don't think in some aspects, yes, because whereas people with mom and dad, yes, some of them do have to raise themselves because parents are on drugs and alcoholics.
You were forced to be an adult.
Right.
Off top.
So in certain aspects, yeah, I do feel like I am more rounded and better off in those aspects. But in other aspects, relationships. I've never witnessed a relationship, so I don't know how relationships are supposed to go.
And I'm
even with
fucked.
like friendships.
Not to cut you off, me and my wife have furthered ourselves as far as love goes, but before her, I've been fucked all my life. As far as relationships, I have never seen a good relationship displayed before me. The men in my life, shit. The women in my life like to be treated like shit.
Right.
You know, so growing up in that box, you know, you get stuck thinking like that. You think that's how you're supposed to be.
Right.
You know, all my uncles, you know, shit like that they want to be players. Play the woman. Fuck the woman. You know, and I disagree thoroughly. We need to, and I was one of those guys, but I feel we need to respect our women. Tupac says it best. It's time to heal our women. Be real to our women. Anyway, I feel that's the key. That's how we need to be. But we look at those that come before us, those that are over us, and we follow in their footsteps, you know.
But that's where I say, like me, I have no footsteps to follow, and I've never seen true bad relationships, and I've never seen true good relationships, because there were no relationships displayed before me, and not even like man and wife relationships, but
just
friendships,
people in general.
Friendships, relationships you make with your coworkers, with your boss. I've never seen those kind of relationships, but I've established somehow what I feel to be a right relationship or a wrong relationship, where I feel that relationships should go a certain way. So where do you think that comes from, if there was no true direction for people like me? Because
I feel that comes from lack of the direction. That hurt and that pain, very much the it's titled as, you know, a lot of time daddy issues, if you will.
Yeah. And
not in the sense of a father figure, but in a, you know, a lot of the leader.
Yeah.
Which, so then I guess what we're coming up with is on both sides there's negative, you know. So.
And that's why I feel like there's something in the water supply, because I don't feel like society thinks for itself.
Oh, I know
and I
we
think
don't.
And I think it comes
we
more
don't.
from. I don't think it's how everybody portrays it, like, oh, it's what's in the media, and oh, it's what you see on TV.
I feel it is.
Because for me, I don't watch the news, so I don't get any influence from the news whatsoever. I very rarely read articles that have to do with anything news related.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I feel that it is like I said, lack of, but also, who are our leaders, right? Who is positive leading us, right? You did not have the figures in your life, right? The parents, but even past the parents, let's go government with this. Who are our leaders? What kind of leaders are they?
I think it depends on who you're talking to.
Well, I'm talking to you two because we are here together. And
but that's what I'm saying. Like, as far as opinions go, I could sit here and say Trump is shit, everything that he believes is shit. But the next person could be like, oh my God, what he is doing is amazing.
I personally feel we have no heroes. We have no positive role models. I feel they are absent. We have some guys, J. Cole, who is trying to do good. We have some guys, but a lot of these, you know, I'm gonna put it on the men. A lot of us are afraid to step up and lead by example, which is.
But isn't that because we have no heroes? Isn't that why a lot of people turn to God?
True. That's why a lot of people turn to not just God, just spirituality in general.
But I do know a lot of people, when I say turn to God, I do hear people, when everything in your life is failing, turn to God. This is going on, turn to God. But if you honestly look at it, which I'm slowly but surely getting into religion. I've recently been going to church, and so I'm not saying that there's not a God, but when you look at it, all of it comes from society. Society is always telling us, turn to God, turn to God, turn to God. But if you sit down and break it down, God every day allows children to be raped, murdered.
Yes.
God has killed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people because he didn't feel like they were living lives the way that they should have been living, or that they didn't deserve to continue to live that life. God made the decision, because Eve decided to disobey as any child would, that I'm stripping everything from you. You don't get anything.
Yes.
But this is the person that I'm supposed to look to as my hero from what some people say. I'm supposed to turn to him to solve all of my problems or to help me fix what's going wrong in my life when, as history tells us through reading the Bible, yes, he's done a lot of great things, but he's also done a shit ton of wrong,
he was
too.
a vengeful God in the Old Testament. Very terrible. And still today, if you think about it, a lot of the things he does, if he is even an existent thing, you know, and I can't say either or.
Because we're in the learning process.
I believe in inner peace. I believe it, as I started this off saying, I believe the power is within us. I believe we have the power to do things. I believe it is all on us.
So then your God should be Buddha, because that's what everybody says that Buddha believes
If
in.
I should even have a God. Because I don't really have a God past my everyday life. Taking care of Jade, raising, you know, my future child. I don't look to a God. I don't pray to a God. Me and Jade we are actually, I want to say this on record, because I want to, I'm very happy that, hearing what you just said, that you are, you know, have started getting on that path. Me and Jade actually went to a church about 2 weeks ago, and we're thinking about doing the same thing, so I would love to help and roll with you on that. But as of right now, I am a man that believes in inner peace, and I believe in the mission, which is providing for a family. I believe I'm here for a family. I'm here to take care of them. I don't look to a God. I look to the darndest of things, which is comic books. These men, in these books, these men take away the superpowers, and they're everyday guys like us trying to do the right thing. That's what I believe in. Do the right thing no matter what, when nobody's looking, which I have a fucking problem with a lot, you know, but I believe us as human beings have a choice, and that's good and evil, right?
So because I know that our minds are so much alike, let me ask you this. Do you believe, not saying like we've established there is a God, there's not a God, but one of the biggest things that I know that I personally struggle with is, well, I'm not supposed to feel like I'm better than the next person, and I'm not supposed to feel like the next person is better than me, but isn't that, in a sense, what people value as God? He's better than me.
They do put him over him a lot. And the Bible, the Holy Bible, if we're talking about the Christian God, asks for that. He asks you to literally love him more than your wife, your child, yourself, your mom, your dad, everything.
But I'm not supposed to look down on somebody because they're doing drugs and I don't do drugs. So I'm not supposed to feel like, oh, because I don't do drugs, I'm not better than them. So why is it okay for society to say, well, here's all the things that we do, but it, whatever you believe in, is better than that. In a sense, we belittle ourselves, which is why I say that I feel we're stuck, because even outside of our mindsets, right? Let's look at some facts here. We're eating the same shit now that people have been eating for many years, but why all of a sudden, if they're not putting anything into our water supplies and our food supplies and things, why all of a sudden is the obesity rate at an all-time high? Well, this is stuff that they were eating 20 years ago and people weren't swelling up like a balloon then.
I mean, we see it all over Facebook all the time. I'm not saying Facebook is a good place to go for information.
Absolutely not.
You know, it's full of shit. But, you know, we see it all the time. The shit they put in, fucking, sitting here with a McDonald's cup right now, the burgers and shit, it's not real meat. It's fucking, you know, fucking fake shit.
But even outside of, like, McDonald's meat, like, say you go to the store and buy hamburger meat, you're trying to tell me that
we don't know. No, we don't know what the fuck is in the food, to be honest. I do know that they are doing cloning. They are cloning animals and all kind. We don't know what the fuck we're eating anymore.
So I read something the other day, now that you say that they're cloning animals, this reminded me of that.
Which is fascinating. Wrong. I could say it could be wrong, but it's so fucking fascinating. Superheroes are coming. Anyway, go ahead.
That I was reading this, I don't even remember what the fuck it was, but it caught my attention. Because now they're saying that lemons are not a real fruit and that they're genetically made. They're two fruits put together, almost like, I know none of us really smoke weed right now.
And is this by them doing shit, like fucking with it?
Pretty much, like, okay, so you know how they come out with different strains of weed because they take this strain and they make them mate so that now there's this hybrid.
Yes.
they're saying that that's what a lemon is. It's like an orange and some sort of citrus that they forced to mate, and that's where lemons have come from. That they're not a natural fruit.
And has that been forever? Like in all?
That's what they're saying.
Really?
That it has never been a real fruit.
Wow. I know. I mean, I was gonna say we're just now finding out about this, but there's people I'm sure that know, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, that's crazy. I mean, in the possibilities of things that they're doing, I don't necessarily agree with all of it.
Mm-hmm.
I am fascinated with science, but I understand a lot of it as far as you know, the normal good, the normal morals. They kind of bend a lot, and to the normal eye, the naked eye, if you will, of everyday people, I could see where it is viewed as fucking terrible, you know. But I'm still fascinated. I still want to learn.
So do you feel like society runs off of Darwin's theory?
Darwin's theory, which is
Lowest man on the totem pole goes. That's Darwin's theory. That's pretty much why we have the food chain. Because you have these people up here that take out the people out here. Do you feel like society runs on that? And when I say that, I mean, if we are able to genetically come up with a fruit that's not a fruit, how come we are not able to genetically come up with food so that kids aren't starving, so that adults aren't starving?
Because they're not focused on that, man.
But that's what I'm saying. Do you think that's Darwin's theory? Do you think that's society's way of
I
getting rid
feel
of the weak?
Kind of. I feel what you're saying is, and is what I see every day is rich man fuck poor man, basically, and that's the rich eat and we get shit. We get nothing. And I feel that is very valid and true. They are not concerned with us. You know, they do not care about us. You know, a lot of times people take it to a race thing, and I disagree with the race thing. I feel if you're poor, you're in it together. We are here. It's going to be one day, you know, it's going to be us versus them. Not black, not white, not Mexican, not none of that. No, it's going to be you got money, they're fighting us. We're going to have to come up, you know, pick our guns up if they haven't taken them yet. We're going to go to war with them.
But I don't think that's going to happen one day. I think that's already our reality.
Yeah, and it is. You're right. You are
because
correct.
If you listen, I don't know if you guys are real political and get into all of that, but you hear things like they're going to stop government funding for certain programs, or they're talking about taking food stamps away and things like that. I feel like that's their weapon against us. You know that I can't provide for my household without certain assistance in certain circumstances, and that's society's way of the rich man saying, hey, we can afford this food, but you can't, so we're going to go ahead and take that away from you because we don't lose in that situation. You do.
I mean, and they're not going through it, you know? We don't have a, you know, and like I said, I want to go on record saying I don't know shit. But I'm speaking from what I do know, and that's, I guess, my own bullshit, my own personal opinion. I mean, but they don't go through what we go through. They don't know what it's about, you know? So for them to take away something, it's just changing their pocket. It ain't a damn thing. It's just getting them paid. For a lot of individuals. I hear Chance the Rapper's father is doing a lot of things for the community out there in Chicago. We have some people that do care. We do. But are they making a big enough impression on the world? Do they care about the world? That is my question.
So I wonder what makes us idolize certain people, because we have these people that are rich and they have this money and we idolize them, but in our reality, you're not doing anything. You're bringing in $65 million a year, and instead of donating not even half of it, a quarter of that.
They don't want to share that shit though, Evan. They don't.
So then what makes us idolize these people that do so little for us?
Because we want what they have. I do not idolize these people, but we find ourselves so quick to get caught up with who's on TV or who's in this relationship, and it's because they have what we don't have. I feel something about that life, the fucking money, having that, it fascinates us because we don't have it, we've never had it, and chances of having it are slim to none.
Yeah.
Which is why I believe in working my fucking ass off, because I believe the power's in us and we can do anything we set our damn minds to. You know, fuck them, we don't need them, we don't need their help, I don't want your help. I will work my ass off for my family. Every day, all day.
And that's a good stance on that.
But a lot of people don't see things like that. A lot of people, you know, and which is part of the reason they're taking it. A lot of people feel like, fuck that, I can sit on my ass and...
I'm entitled.
Yeah, I'm entitled to this, you know, which is bullshit to me. I feel you're a human being, be a fucking participant in this shit we call society. Get up, try something. I understand if you need some help, use your fucking help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help.
Right.
But what's wrong with asking for fucking getting food stamps and shit like that is...
When you're doing absolutely nothing.
When you're doing absolutely nothing. I know several people that do that. And it's a way they want to sit around, smoke weed all day and do nothing with their lives.
Never get a job. Their rent's a fucking $1. Yeah. They're getting the maximum on their tax returns and you ain't worked a day in your fucking life.
They, just as the man, are just as much of a problem. They are not furthering the goals of the community. They are not pushing us to be better people.
No.
They don't want to see us grow. They don't even want to see themselves grow. You know what I mean?
And I just think that's what society pushes on us. Because the last couple of days, I've been talking to people like on Facebook because I see stuff that they're posting, and a lot of it is about the men walking away from their families. And my favorite phrase right now is, there are too many babies, not enough families.
I agree.
And I feel like that's something society pushes on us, because as a woman, when you don't have a man in your life, it's looked on, oh, well, you're going to have to get multiple jobs to take care of your kids.
Which is sad.
You don't need to ask anybody for help, because the second that you ask somebody for help, then it's you taking handouts and not doing what's needing to be done for your children. Whereas with a man, a single father, and I've witnessed this myself, single fathers tend to have tons of people flocking around them to help
like
them
heroes.
And give, and they do, and to me it's crazy, because when he walks away from the situation that he's gotten himself in, he's still looked at as the hero. Nobody complains about the fact that you just walked away from your children and your family, but let me come out and say, you know what, I love my kids, but I don't want to do this. Society is going to knock me down so fast. Oh, how could you walk away from your kids? How could you do this? How could you do that?
But men are also viewed as pieces of shit, deadbeat dads, shit like that. The men that walk away, I have, you know, not a lot of respect for. The reason they're viewed as heroes is because, I mean, most men are walking away. Mm-hmm. You know, we don't have a lot of men that are, you know, stepping up and doing what needs to be done. If mama wants to be fucking strung out in crack and doing this and that, and daddy decides I'm going to be a father because this is what matters. We don't have that. So they are viewed as the hero, you know? Same, I feel the mothers should also be viewed as a hero, but the reason the men are viewed as a hero is because it's uncommon.
Yeah.
You see single mothers all the time. We grew up seeing that.
But I feel like you see more single mothers because the mothers don't really have a choice.
No, they don't.
We don't have a choice in saying, oh, well, he walked away, so I'm going to walk away. If he don't want to do it and doesn't have to do it, then I don't want to have to do it.
And I mean, it's the same in reverse. If he decides I don't want this responsibility anymore, who else is going to take care of the kid but the mom? If she decides I'm done, who's going to do it but the dad, you know?
But there's even situations there where I know people who have, like, adopted their grandchildren and shit because mom decided to walk away, and instead of dad stepping up and saying, I gave birth, well, not necessarily gave birth, but I helped create you, and you are my responsibility. Dad says, oh, well, I'm going to walk away too. And so naturally the grandparents are forced to step in at that point. And it's something that society has made acceptable. It's acceptable for grandparents to have to be parents twice instead of getting to be grandparents.
It's became what's common.
Yeah.
We are not too keen on doing the uncommon these days. We are not too keen on stepping up and actually trying to do something better or being better, you know. We are not. The question was unlocking brain capacity, or, you know, the rest of your brain that we don't use. We're going to a new topic.
Yes.
So, which of you ladies would like to draw?
Well, I drew that one, so it's Jade's turn.
Whose turn is it?
I lost myself. I don't know. I'll say it's yours.
Alright.
If you draw another one of Sean's, just put it back.
Handling stress in relationships.
Okay.
That's a good one.
I am very familiar with stress in relationships.
I think all of us are.
I feel like everybody in the world that's in a real relationship that actually genuinely cares about somebody is dealing with stress in a relationship. If you truly love somebody, if you're truly in it with them, I feel you're going to go through shit. You know, when you truly commit yourself fully to another individual, man, woman, woman, friends, your dog, whatever, you're gonna deal with stress because you care about that person, you know. How I handle it is different. I tend to get lost in comics. I don't know. That's my venting tool to all things. I have chose comics as my number one drug, if you will. I read those and kind of look to those guys to see what they're gonna do, what they would do. As you know, other than that, me and talking, being open and honest is the most important thing. I feel you have to be open and honest. If you are not open and honest, you are lying to one another. You know where lying gets you? In a even more stressful position than you're already in.
When you're talking about being honest, right? I just want to touch on this real quick.
Go ahead.
Do you consider omitting information a lie? Mean? Not providing it. You're not denying it, but you're not providing that information.
I don't consider it a lie, but I consider it being unhelpful to the cause.
Exactly.
I feel it does not aid the cause one bit. That's why when I say...
No, because that's something that person...
is hiding. You are holding it within your inner self. They're holding it in
and they're keeping...
And they're holding it for a reason.
Yeah.
Because they know...
And then that secret, that, like, is gonna...
It'll build up. If it does not come out when it's needed to come out, that shit builds. So I feel... That's why I say be open and honest. Fully open. That means letting it all out on the table. You're fucking... Masturbation. What do you like to masturbate to? Let your fucking partner know that shit. You gotta have it all out there, you know? And we are by no means, I want to say this on record too, perfect in any fucking way. No. But my wife lets me fucking play with action figures, so eat a dick. And what are your thoughts, guys, on the subject matter, though?
I feel like, as we were just talking about society, I feel like society has formed us to be afraid to handle the stress that comes with a relationship.
They don't even want you to have a real relationship.
It's easier to walk away. Then I don't have to deal with it. My hands are clean. Yeah. There's no stress involved in me being by myself. Because I can sit here and be lonely all the time and want to be with somebody, but that fear, that stress keeps me to where I'm just like, I'll be lonely. Yeah. So I feel like society has formed us to be afraid of that stress, to not properly know how to handle it. And I feel like there's stress within that itself. Like you were saying, fully committing yourself to somebody.
Keep going.
I feel like there's that stress in wanting to commit, but having society and everyone in the background tell you all the reasons you shouldn't.
Right.
Because you see it on TV all the time. I go back to the people that we idolize. You see these people making up and breaking up and making up and so you begin to think that that's normal. But then the second that shit's truly stressful, like legitimately stressful, not, oh my God, we argued because he looked at me fucking wrong or she said something wrong. When there's legitimate stress, how the fuck are we going to pay bills this month? How the fuck are we going to eat because we don't have the money? How are we going to buy that baby some diapers? When there's legitimate stress that can't be fixed right there on the spot, we leave. We run away from that. We withdraw ourselves. We shut down. Whatever the case may be, we don't truly handle it. It is very rare that you see somebody like, all right, I know this is the spot that we're in, but here's how we're going to handle it so that it does not affect our relationship, so that it does not affect our day-to-day outside of the relationship, so that I'm not going to work pissed off because my electric's about to be turned off. Nobody sits down as that couple to say, this is how we are fighting against the world. This is what we're going to do. And so I feel like nobody ever truly 100% handles that stress. Because there's always going to be something. Am I making enough money? Did the kids get everything that they needed? There's always going to be something.
Worry.
Always.
Constant worry.
And what do you think?
I mean,
because I stepped out on part of that. So when I went over there, it was really loud. So, what are your thoughts? Beautiful.
I mean,
So are you saying worry prevents an individual from being fully open in a relationship? Do you feel worry about money, worry about fucking feeding the children, worry about what you're going to do tomorrow, worry about a job, prevents people from being fully honest with each other?
yeah.
I think that plays a part in it, but I think the main thing is lack of effort.
Yes.
I agree.
Being lazy, not wanting to put in the effort
I
for
agree.
shit to be okay.
Exactly.
That is the main issue and why people can't commit, because they don't want to put in the effort to stop talking to the hoes. They don't want to. They don't want to put in the effort to focus solely on their family. They don't want to put in the effort to say, "Hey, I know we've been friends for 15 years, but my relationship is more important." They don't want to put in true effort for anything in their life to work. We can sit all day and, oh, I lost my job because of this reason. Well, you didn't put in that effort to keep the job.
Right.
Oh, I can't find a job. Well, are you truly putting in the effort that's needed to find that
That's
job?
with everything in fucking life, not
Yep.
just relationships. Why do
Nope.
I not have abs right now? Because
Lack
I
of
didn't
effort.
want to put in the effort. You know? And that's with every little bit of life, man.
But I honestly believe, like, there's all these statistics that divorces happen because of lack of communication or financial problems or A, B, C, and D. No. The reason there are so many divorces is because lack of effort. Almost anything you come across in life can be fixed if you put in the effort. You have communication problems, go fucking do something about it. You having financial problems, sit down with your spouse, let them know what the fuck is going on, figure out a way to fix it.
I agree.
People get divorced because that's the easy option.
Yep.
I don't have these
They
financial
don't
issues.
want to try. They
Yep,
don't,
they don't
want to put
that.
forth the
They
fucking effort.
and they both have to try.
Yep,
Because-
it's not one-sided.
Exactly.
And I agree.
It's equal trying. It's not, oh, I'm giving 60 and you're giving 40.
Right.
No, we're going to both give 50, because the second that I feel like I'm giving 70 and you're giving 30, I'm going to shut down.
Right.
I'm going to cut off all of my efforts at that point
And
in
it's
time.
very hard to give a lot when your partner is not.
It's
Yep.
not giving.
It
right.
really tears you down. It
Yep.
weighs in on you. It makes you tired.
Yes.
And, you know, I feel we can all speak on that. I mean, we can all relate to that subject, man. Why do you think, like, just laziness? Huh? Yes, I did just discard.
My bad.
I mean, why do you think people are lazy like that? Do you feel it's because of the way we were raised? Do you feel it's because people lack
Because of what we
ambition?
see. Because
I think it depends on the person. Like, there are some people who have witnessed their parents go through divorces, or their parents stepping outside of their relationships and never truly putting in effort. So I think that's all that they know, and they like
Accept it.
we go back to our previous conversation. You don't
That's
know
what
how to
we're
step
saying.
outside of that loop.
Do you feel we lack the moral? Do you feel we lack moral ambition? Do you feel we lack the true understanding of what's good and what's bad? Do you feel humans truly don't grasp what the right thing is?
Yes.
I agree.
I feel like I just lost everything I was going to say. Hold on, let me get that back.
It's all right. And that's how I feel. I feel a lot of people walking this planet today truly don't know what right or wrong is. They do what feels good, or they do what they see the next
That's
man
where I was
doing.
going with
Yes.
that. Their motives are wrong. Most people are viewing shit as, what am I getting out of this?
Yes.
How does this benefit me?
Yes,
Relationships, jobs,
we have become a selfish universe, man.
very selfish.
Very selfish.
I agree. And the reason nobody's talking is because I stepped away to get water. So, I agree. Do you want... I'm going to draw a new topic unless you guys have more.
I'm good.
Alright. So, haha.
Do we want to talk about swollen feet?
If you'd like to add... my wife's pregnant and her
Pregnant people
feet are
problems.
swollen, man.
We can talk about the way your vagina changes during pregnancy.
Yeah.
kidding.
The way
So,
it gets really
on
hot.
that note, ladies, sex.
Just sex?
Just sex.
Okay.
What first thing that pops to your head?
Bullshit.
Why?
Pregnancy.
I got a question. From 1 to 10, you guys have been with men, right?
Yes.
Obviously.
Unfortunately.
You're pregnant and you have kids.
Should've
Okay.
stayed lesbian.
Yeah.
I disagree. I'm
I'm
very
just
happy
kidding. I
women
love you.
like dick. Scale 1 to 10. How hard is it for the man to find the G-spot? How many times have you guys had a weak-ass experience with a man that just did not know what the fuck he was doing?
To be completely honest, probably 80%.
Why do you think that is? And hold on, let's get your bit in first.
Okay, so on a scale from 1 to 10, how hard is it to find? Motherfucking 15.
How hard is it to find?
And the reason I say that, because there are so many men that feel like they're doing something, but I'm sorry. Any man that knows what the fuck he's doing is not going to mistakenly find your asshole instead of your vagina hole. Like, they're worlds apart.
World.
So I feel like it's a fucking 15, because if you can't even figure out the difference between a fucking asshole and a fucking vagina hole, do you even know what a G-spot is?
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like the majority of men don't. The majority of men that I've been with, like, not trying to put our shit on blast, but
No, I'm going to speak on that.
I've
actually.
had to.
No, okay, so
I've had to show you.
okay, so when I first got with my wife, and I've been with ladies, you know, when I first got with my wife, I realized that all those bitches were lying. I thought I was a sex pro.
No.
Come to find out, I wasn't. You know, she had to teach me how to eat. You know, the coochie, where the you know, G-spot is, if you will, and I've gotten better. Still not the best in the world, but
But you're
you know.
great now.
Do you feel it's because man does not take time
Yes.
to find that thing?
They don't take time.
It's
And a
because
lot of
they-
men are not open to criticism. They
Oh, no,
want to
we
feel
are-
like they're doing it right
We
every
are
time.
so insecure about
Especially
things like
when
that.
it comes to that.
When it comes to sex, I
Because
don't know
I
what
can
it is
tell
about
you-
sex for us, but we hold that high.
I can tell you, as a woman who has had many sexual endeavors,
Yes.
too.
Good job. High five.
100% of the time I have faked it.
Oh,
What?
100% of the time.
okay. I can't say 100% of the time.
But it's because you've taught him.
yeah.
So there's a difference there. I've been with men who cannot take criticism well. Or there's been men where I'm just like, how do I even approach the situation? So you fake it, especially with people that you love, because you don't want them to feel a certain way. So you're going to fake it, and yes,
Which
you're
goes
doing
back
it.
to sitting down and talking.
But some of those conversations aren't
They
necessarily
don't-
comfortable for all people.
Oh no, because like I just said, men are so fucking insecure. But if you men would listen to what your women want, you could please them. Actually, you could actually fucking get them off, man.
But it's not even just about the men being insecure. Like me, I'm a very private person.
Oh, okay.
So talking about sex is that thing that kind of makes me go red in the face. Like, are we really having this conversation right now? So it's not just on the men, but even
Okay.
still, like I've dated men who are very withdrawn in a sense, where sex isn't something they want to discuss.
Yeah.
It's just not a topic of conversation, and I feel like that's why so many people end up in bed with the wrong people. Because and then people are disappointed because, okay, well, I thought it was going to be like this, you thought it was going to be like this, and really it was like this, and now we're both pissed the fuck off.
Yeah.
Because shit didn't go the way that it was. Like, you were talking to me about a previous conversation you had where shit got really fucking intense, and you were like, what, I didn't realize that people were like that. And that's where it comes in. You got women who truly want to be beat the fuck out of, in a sense,
Yeah.
but they're afraid to say that because the type of person that they are, or the type of person that they're with, is really reserved, and, well, I can't just come out and tell you to beat the fuck out of me because you're not going to know how to handle that, because that's not the type of person you are, and that's not the type of stuff you enjoy. So I feel like we all make sacrifices, in a sense, to be with the person that we think we want to be with.
But see, with me, I feel sex is not the most important thing in a relationship, but it's very important, especially if you're going to spend the rest of your life with that person.
Yes.
And I am very open sexually, as
Is it my turn?
it's her turn. As everybody at this table knows, I am very fucking open sexually, to the point it's weird. So I have no
So
problem
when it
with
creeps people out.
I have no problem with talking to my wife about what the fuck can I do better? Because I'm fascinated with what the fuck I can do to my wife's vagina because it's awesome. Have you ever been in a vagina audience? It is amazing. So I am very open, and my personal opinion is people should be open sexually. You should be able to sit down and talk about it. It should be an every day, if not that, at least twice a week. What can we do to make each other happier? Not just during sex, but in relationships, period. But what do you guys think? Or should we?
I don't feel like sex is that important to me because I have children, lots of children. So it makes it a little more difficult, and sometimes you have, for me, I find myself weighing out more, is my sleep worth more than having sex at this point? And it is, and that causes, and for men, I know that most men, that's all they think about majority of the time.
Because we're horny ass fuckers.
And so for them, it is a big deal, but I feel like no man takes the time to view it from a woman's point of view. It's not that I don't want to be intimate with you. It's not that I'm not attracted to you anymore. It's not that I don't enjoy it. It's just the fact that I'm physically fucking exhausted, and I would rather get 8 hours of sleep versus 6 hours.
Yeah.
But no, I feel like no man takes that time to view it that way. There's always an ulterior motive, and I feel like that's one of the biggest reasons that men do step outside of their relationships. And vice versa. When you have a man that's with the children all the time and is physically fucking exhausted, that's when I feel like you see the women step outside the relationship because you're not getting what you need at that point. But there's too many people just wanting to step outside of it or walk away from a relationship instead of saying, hey, I know you're tired, but this is something that I need.
I am stepping away from the table. I gotta change the movie for the children. Evan, would you like anything to drink while I'm up? And you guys go ahead and draw another one.
Water, please.
Okay.
Alright, so
We don't have any more bottles of water.
Okay, it's fine.
Do you want... Where's the doctor? Did Fred drink over Dr. Pepper?
Yeah. It's all gone.
Would you like some Hawaiian punch?
Sure.
Or milk.
Lactose intolerant. No milk. Oh, guys, we're staying on this conversation. So we're going into sex today versus sex in the past.
Right on, I love that question.
No, I'm not laughing.
So go ahead, ladies.
Okay, so Sean, when you found out that I wrote this down on a piece of paper, you asked what I meant.
Okay.
What I mean is the way people view and have sex today, versus how the way people viewed and had sex in the past.
Give me again.
So the way people view and have sex today versus the way people viewed and had sex in the past. Because in the past it was unacceptable to have sex unless you were married.
Yes.
That was frowned upon, and don't even let you end up pregnant because you being shipped off to your great aunt's house until the baby's born, and then the baby is never seen again.
But people have always been horny and always broke the rules, I
I agree, but I think
it's more.
Sex
it was more looked down on.
And that's
then.
because sex back in
Today,
the day,
it's okay for 15-year-olds to have sex. It's okay for 14-year-olds to have babies.
I feel sex back then was held at some sense of respect. It was a special thing, and now it's thrown around like it's nothing, you know?
Right.
but I also feel like the way people have sex has changed too, because before, I mean, there's always shit that's been done in the dark. There's no doubt about that. But before, it was always man and wife.
Right.
But now it's man, wife, 6 other people, being beat the fuck out of during sex, tying people up and swings, and there was none of that truly going on. Like, you always had people that were like what they call, I guess, swingers or whatever, where they brought other couples in or brought another woman in or another man in. I feel like there's always been that, but it's like, I feel like sex in a sense has evolved.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know that I necessarily agree with that. When did sex more so become a sport or a hobby than a connection between two people?
I mean, but even back in the day in Sodom and Gomorrah and shit like that, I mean, they were fucking filthy motherfuckers too. I feel people have always been open to exploring sexually. It was just more on the hush. People have became so
that's what I
open
was saying.
with it. I didn't. I just thought I'd add a piece.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, that's why I was just saying that there's always been things done in the dark. But now it's more broadcast. I mean, think about all the websites that you can go watch other people have sex for free.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay for it.
I know nothing about any of that.
Bullshit.
Shut the fuck up.
You're a motherfucking lie.
Yeah, for real.
You're a man. Y'all probably knew before we did.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think it's so accepted now?
Hi, baby. But one thing that confuses the fuck out of me, I can have sex on camera and be paid for it, but let me stand on a street corner and be doing the same thing, and because there's not a director telling me what to do and how to do it, it's considered a crime. To me, it's society.
It all keeps coming back to society.
I feel like it comes down to Uncle Sam, because a prostitute doesn't have taxes coming out of their check.
Is that the same with drug dealers then?
Yeah.
So do you feel the government wouldn't give a fuck as long as he could tax it?
Yep.
Which is fucked.
Depending on what state you live in, because like
No,
us, we live in Oklahoma, and this is a Republican state. We are in the Bible Belt, so they are against all things that they consider to be unholy, which is why we aren't allowed to smoke marijuana. It's something that they could tax and make profit off of, but because of Oklahoma's beliefs and us being in the Bible Belt, it's still frowned upon. But you see, as states are slowly realizing how much fucking money they can make off of it. Oh, well, we seen Colorado made X amount of money, so let's go ahead and legalize. Let's see how much money we can make.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel sex has always been explored, back to ancient times and shit. People have always explored sexually. We already said it just used to be more on the hush. I agree with her. Society has changed extremely. It's all over TV, all in the music, and I feel those are being used as tools to push us further,
But that's exactly what it is, because why is a woman shunned for breastfeeding her baby, but I could walk around with my tits out and nobody's going to say a fucking thing?
Right.
But the second that there's a baby attached to it, it's an issue.
Yeah.
Why is it acceptable for a man to walk around on the sidewalk without a shirt on when his nipples are clearly showing, but if I do it, it's indecent exposure?
Yeah.
I don't know, ladies.
Yeah, I don't know. You don't know the answer to that.
No.
I feel part of it's because I believe this is a man's country. I feel it's very it caters to us men a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Not saying it's perfect for us or anything like that,
But it's ran by men.
Yeah, I agree. So that's my answer to the question. It's your turn. Or did
you discard? I didn't see you discard. So
no, I mean it's your turn as far as drawing, but it's actually...
No, I just pulled one. It's Jade's turn.
Do you want to pull one?
Oh, yeah, he hasn't pulled one.
I thought I pulled sex.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He did.
All right, the question is parenting. I don't know.
It was not a question.
So
Just a
then,
discussion.
as far as parenting, what is... Personally, what is good parenting? What is bad parenting? How should you raise your children? Should your children be allowed to watch Pulp Fiction and Die Hard, or not?
Not before a certain age.
What's the age?
I feel like when they're old enough, I feel like the age varies. Because you can have a 13-year-old that is very mature for their age versus a 13-year-old that's still playing with Barbie dolls. Or,
True.
So I think it depends on the maturity level of the child. I feel like the correct age is when you feel like they're old enough
They can
to
handle it.
comprehend what's going on, what it's really about, when they're able to look past the, oh my god, I'm going to giggle because there was just boobs on the TV screen.
I agree 100%.
Mason keeps saying it's so sweet.
And I've already told you you're not getting anything else because you pee in the bed.
I want to raise my child watching awesome ass shit on TV. Of course, I'm a fucking nerd, so I want to raise him watching fucking Batman, Star Wars, Pulp Fiction, Quentin Tarantino movies. But I understand. I understand that at certain ages he cannot handle it. But if daddy doesn't show it to him, he's gonna see it anyway. So I feel it's reasonable to show your child these movies at 13. I feel he should be allowed to watch these things. I feel you should be very open with your children. That's just me personally. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, I agree with that in a sense. Like, I've always said that when my children get old enough to want to explore alcohol or marijuana, that I would prefer that I'm the one present with them, because I don't want you to do it with the wrong people and now you've smoked some shit that's fucking laced, or you get caught
and you're going to jail. Or
I would be open to that. No, I don't personally smoke marijuana anymore because I do spend all of my time with my kids, but let's be real, I'm 23 years fucking old and I get drunk off my fucking ass. So I know what I feel to be a safe environment for my children to do those things.
So you feel if they're in a safe and secluded environment, provided
where an adult
parents.
is present. Now, if it's their first time, I would prefer that adult be me. Don't try to run out and get high with your friends for the first time, because everybody handles that shit differently. And the last thing I want is getting a fucking phone call because you're paranoid as fuck thinking the FBI is fucking after you. But I would prefer it be in a controlled area where there is an adult present, so that if shit does fucking go down, there's a responsible adult there to know how to handle that situation.
And see, I agree on that tip. I would rather my child not do things at all, but my child being my child and my wife's child, they're going to.
All children are going to.
Like I just said, if they don't see blood and guts watching it with dad, watching fucking Quentin Tarantino movies, they're going to see it at their friend's house late at night, which is cool, but on the smoking weed and stuff I'd rather them do that, not at all, but I know they're going to do it. And I agree, I would much rather supervise it.
But I think good parenting versus bad parenting, like you were asking before, depends on the person, because society would knock the fuck out of me right now for hanging out with my friends and it's, midnight and my kids aren't in bed?
Yeah. I mean, they're in bed-ish.
But they're not really. And society would knock the fuck out of me. But society also wouldn't take the time to realize that typically my kids are in bed by 8:30 every fucking night.
Yeah.
And this is a special night for all of us because they'll be gone for the next week.
Yeah.
So I give them more leeway when I know that something drastic is about to happen in their life, because the last time they spent that long away from me was when they went to Michigan with their dad.
So I feel the answer to the question is to each their own.
Yep.
To each parent's beliefs, to each human being, it is solely up to how you feel you should raise your child. Now, I'm not saying beat the shit out of your children and lock them in a cage. That is wrong.
Well, and I think everybody's level of what beat the shit out of your children is too, because yes, I do know parents that have taken it too far and literally beat the fuck out of their kids, but I think it also depends on how you were raised.
Is it my turn?
Yeah. Because, I didn't personally experience it, but I know people my age who, because they're black, they were grown up a certain way where go get me that switch or go get me whatever and I'm going to whoop your ass with it. Whereas I know people that are white in the way that they grew up, it was, okay, I got a belt or I got a hand to my butt. So I think it just depends on what each person's level of extreme is, because I spank my kids.
Yeah, and I don't feel
and
that's
I will
wrong.
openly spank them. But I don't do it to humiliate them. So if I'm going to spank them and we're around people that aren't normally around my children on a day-to-day basis, I take them out of the room to spank them so that nobody's watching them.
Right.
But they still get the point. But
I just set my cards face up.
Nobody noticed.
But I feel punishment is needed. I was raised, my mom did not whoop my ass, and I made a lot of mistakes because of it. I feel discipline is very much needed, which is something I'm personally working on as an individual within my own life. I feel everybody needs discipline, child, adult, I feel discipline is much needed to live a successful life, a life with meaning, But
I put all those back in there because Jade's about to win the game in half a second, so I figured we'd end this here.
All right, you want to do one more?
I probably shouldn't because it's 12:07.
All right.
And
Well,
we've done an hour, so.
Well, I'm not winning it.
God damn it.
So this has been Sex and Cards, and we are signing out. I hope y'all took some shit from this. If not, that's okay.
It's your loss.
Tune in next week.
You're fucking lost, bitch.
Subscribe. Goodbye. Any last words or anything? May the force be with you.
One ring to rule them all.
Assalamu alaikum.
And we're out.